you're wondering what the hell I am doing filling up this little can, is that today I'm purposely going to run out of fuel. Brimmersville. Yeah, so welcome to today's vlog on how to run out of fuel. I don't know if anybody else has ever tested on their bike before, but I never know how far my bikes will go. I've never run them out before, so it's not entirely accurate, you know, the distance they give you on your fuel range is to, you know, is it you know, reliable? I'm always sort of, well, how I was before, as soon as the fuel light came on, I'd be sort of thinking, I need to get to the fuel station. But on this bike, as soon as the warning light comes on, I don't know, I maybe have another 80 kilometers, I think it says on here. So we're going to test it out. So what I've done is I've set the trip 1, I set that when I first filled the bike up, 20 litres, brimming. And as soon as the fuel light comes on, I'm going to reset trip 2 so we can get a sort of a more accurate reading on how far the bike will go when the fuel light comes on. Yeah, so we're going to find out exactly how accurate that reading is. As soon as the fuel light comes on, it tells me how much I've got left. We'll then see how accurate that actually is. The closest I've ever come into to testing that on a bike is on my Tiger 1050. 2 years ago, no, last year, I think it was, last year. Could have been 2 years ago, can't remember. When the fuel light came on, I was up in the middle of nowhere, up on some mountain pass, no fuel stop whatsoever, and I carried on, obviously, and I managed to ride the bike all the way down. You know, the fuel light came on and it said, I've got X amount of kilometers left, and I rode all of them, gone, all the way down to 0, nothing reading on the bars on the fuel gauge, and I rode another 30 kilometers on top before stopping at a petrol station, but I didn't run out, so I did another 30 k's on 0. So that, on that particular bike, it obviously wasn't accurate. I mean, there are ways you can work it out. Is what I always used to do, is that I was obviously reset the clock when I fill up, and then when the fuel light comes on, I'll find myself the nearest petrol station and add on the kilometers that I've got left on the range onto my overall kilometers that I've done on that tank. But obviously that is one way to do it, but that isn't accurate either. And I think from testing before, to be honest, I think the bike goes further than what it tells you, but obviously you don't really want to take it too far and be in a situation where you're running out of petrol and not have any fuel with you. So yeah, obviously can be dodgy, and obviously on bikes that doesn't tell you your fuel range, it's obviously a bit more difficult to judge. They do say, I think it does say in your bike handbooks. In fact, sorry, we'll go left here. You will be able to find in your bike handbook how many litres of fuel is left in the tank when the fuel light comes on, and it's normally around 4.5 litres. So if you look on your average consumption, you can kind of work out how much you've got left if your bike doesn't tell you, like mine, the fuel range. Yeah, so on trip 1, that's how much I've done already on this 20 litres of fuel, and I'm up to 225.5 kilometers, and I have left to ride 82, it says on the range. So we're going to be knocking around on the 300 kilometer door for 20 litres, but I don't think that's too accurate. I mean, I think I've done on a tank 360 before, but you know, this is the best way to test it. And I haven't been conservative, you know, with the 20 litres. I've ridden it how I would ride the bike, so I've had a couple of weekends where I've gone 2s up, There's been some quick riding, there's been some town riding, there's been a bit of, you know, chilled out conservative riding. You know, how I ride, I didn't want to cheat it and try and get as much out as I can, because, you know, that doesn't help much, because that isn't how I would... What is going on here? That isn't how I ride the bike, so that's not realistic. Something there, they've got a prang. It is hot today. I was just going to ride a bit tomorrow and get rid of, you know, a bit more fuel, and then do the vlog tomorrow. But tomorrow is going to be at about 35 degrees, they've said, with thunderstorms and hail showers. So today's the day, but today's, you know, 26, 27, and I'm already through one set of underpants and the t-shirt soaked. But my cold has nearly gone, you'll be pleased to know. So what I'm going to do, I've only got a small can of 1.5 litres of fuel, so I don't want to be too far away from a petrol station when I run out. So I'm going to do a sort of lap of, I've done sort of a lap of town already. I'm going to ride out now, maybe 40-50 k's, and then ride back to town, and hopefully that's going to be around the point where I run out, and I can stick my 1.5 litres in. I have forgotten my funnel though, so it's going to make a mess. I've got a towel, I think, in my bag, so I might have to ruin a towel, get it soaked in fuel. Shit. I think this is the most accurate way to test it, is obviously to run out of fuel, and then you'll know what the bike will ride, you know. Because sometimes I get frustrated, you know, I see the fuel light come on and maybe I ride 20 kilometers with the fuel light on and I'm shitting myself and, oh, I'm going to run out, and then you make a right stress out of it. You get to a petrol station and you put, like, out of a 15 or 20 litre tank, you only get 16 back in. So you still got plenty of fuel to ride on, and without having to faff around and be worried. So the fuel light has now come on, so I'll reset trip 2. Sweet. And we have 69 kilometers left of fuel. Plenty of time for fun. So we are down to 50 kilometers left on the range and absolutely nothing on the fuel gauge, no bars whatsoever. That's 30 people, 30, come closer. I'm not going to rinse every last drop out of her. As soon as she starts to cough and splutter, then I'll pull over and put some fuel in, because I don't want to run her dry and may have a problem of not being able to restart her. So as soon as she starts to then the fuel will be going in. Very exciting. Yeah, I saw you, love. Bloody woman flapping in the back there. Not going to scare your ponies. Okay, down to 24 kilometers, 23 kilometers of fuel left. So what have we done so far? We're now up to 288.4 kilometers for the whole tank, the 20 liters. And we've done 49.3 kilometers with the fuel light on. And we now have 19 kilometers left to go of fuel. I hope I don't stop in a real shitty place. Look like a right knobhead. So we are now down to 2 kilometers of fuel left. 2 kilometers. Warning sign, fuel, exclamation mark, you've got fuck all left. Not even a splutter as yet, not even a splutter. Come on, girl. Kind of wanted to keep going though. Oh, she's coughing, she's coughing. We is out of fuel. But I'm going to stop and pull over here because I don't want to run her totally out. I'll find a... Oh, I can stop here. She's still running, but she's coughing. So there we go. Long awaited. So we actually got nearly 20 k's over the flat line, or the fuel range of the bike. So we did 83.4 when the fuel light came on. And what else have we got? And she did 322.7 kilometers on 20 liters. And as I said, that's with all kinds of riding. That's with aggressive riding, conservative riding, bit of twos up. Yeah, so not too bad. So I reckon I could get her to go to at least 350 if I did a whole tank conservatively. So that's not too far off what I predicted. I predicted sort of 360 with what I'd ridden on a tank before and what the fuel range predicted, around 360. I think 360 would be pushing it, but I think 350 might be realistic if I rode the whole 20 litres conservative. So there we go. Yeah, so get yourself out and try it on your bike. You know, what can go wrong? As long as you don't run it completely dry, then you shouldn't have an issue starting it, which I'll find out in a sec once I've topped it off. So there you go, 322 k's with sort of an average ride, you know, all kinds of riding styles in the bag. You know, I forgot my funnel like a complete dickhead, so now I think I'm gonna make a mess. Come on, don't go everywhere. Oh, beautiful. Not even gonna ruin my towel. Yeah, so it's a good test to do, you know, so now I know the bike will ride another 20 kilometers past the predicted fuel range. So that kind of puts you at ease a bit better if you know, if you're out on a tour somewhere and you get a bit cut short on fuel, at least you know how far the bike will go then. So it's a good thing to do. Get yourself out and try it. See you next time.